our resident chili.
Beer can chili expert.
We're going to turn it over to our resident chili expert for him to give his feedback on all the 6 different chilies. Once he is done, he'll tell us his personal opinion, and then we will tally up the votes and see who our winner is. All right? All right, Johnny.
Wait a minute, do we have to record this?
Allison's got it.
Okay.
All right, so the first chili discussed would be Noah. So Noah, I'm not saying it was undercooked, but how long did you cook that for?
4 hours.
4 hours. Okay. So it wasn't quite slow cooked. It was. Did you cook the ground beef beforehand or in the pot?
It was turkey,
Turkey.
and yes, I did cook it beforehand.
Okay. So then I didn't expect it to be turkey. So that's kind of what I was saying. Ground turkey is a little bit different than ground beef. And what happened is it didn't get enough time to cook to absorb whatever seasonings were in there. So it's like the turkey kind of dominated it. So rather than the turkey being seasoned by the chili kind of took over the rest of the chili. The flavor really didn't have like a time to meld in just 4 hours. If you're gonna do a lean meat like chili, make sure you season it beforehand and you give it ample time to slow cook. Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Easy there, son.
Hey, let him do his job.
An expert would have known what meat that was.
Do I look like I eat ground turkey instead of ground beef? Are we doing impossible meat next year? I can do that.
I was actually thinking about vegetarian.
You're a chili expert. Where's your chili?
I don't make it.
Okay, just making sure. That's all I wanted.
All right. Next chili to talk about is Jake. And Jake, this is actually, I was going to say this was the first time I ever had somebody bring a shredded meat chili in, just because I guess we had 2 entries this year with shredded meat, and that was a nice touch. But the problem with shredded meat is a lot of times you run into it, if you didn't, is that the shredded meat has so much surface area, they can be a bit unseasoned there. Yours had a good seasoning here. Okay. One of the things I look for in chili though is it's got to have heat, but not too much spiciness. Okay. Whatever hot sauce you have there, it's got interesting flavors, but it does kind of dominate with the extra spiciness there. I had to take extra milk afterward, just kind of to calm it down.
Okay, man.
So you can handle it. Okay.
I took the next chili. One thing I would have liked there, I did like the good flavor for a mild. No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one there. Okay, so it's very chunky. Okay, you used chuck roast. You said.
Yeah.
What was the fat ratio? Do you know?
I don't remember.
All right, because it's a lean meat, right? So it was kind of pasty almost. So a little dry. So if you want to have chili when you're going to use lean meat like that, you're not going to get the same rendering you would with a higher fat content meat. So you kind of need to substitute out more water so you get like kind of a brine to bring the flavor up there to keep it cooked and tender. Because when you use just the beans, all right, imagine it was much soupier when you made it together, right? Okay, because the beans, providing that, the beans has water, so as you cooked it, the water evaporated. A lot of times tomato sauce is good, so if you try that next time, it'll also add a little bit of sweetness.
There's tomato in there as
Okay.
well.
Tomato split, tomato paste is a good idea when you've got like a lean meat.
There's processed tomato.
Okay. All right. Next one, Jessica. There you are. So Jessica, this is kind of a brand new recipe for you. I don't think we've ever had it where you made it with shorter beef before. I like it. It's a mild chili and it's got a good flavor. And what I was tasting, did you cook the short rib? Did you smoke it beforehand?
I seared it.
You seared it. Okay, because when you seared it, you could definitely pick up the carbonization out of that. I don't know. My one critique of it is that was there some sort of vinegar in there? Because there's almost like a sour aftertaste in that picture.
Tiny bit.
Tiny bit of vinegar. Okay, it came through. So I can tell the vinegar. You would eat it, you get the smoke when you taste the meat. It would, it would kind of blend together there, but you would get the sour end of the vinegar when you finish it on there. The third one, Rich.
Yes.
Rich. I made a note here in all capital letters. Chili means beans. Okay? So you went from last year, from last year, where you had beans but they weren't cooked, to no beans at all. So 1 year you will figure out how to cook beans properly, and so they can fill out your chili, and you can have
I
chili.
already said fuck beans.
So, but that's my one issue because it actually had a really different flavor. It's not the usual one that you make there. It's very smoked. Did you use taco seasoning or something similar to it?
Something similar.
Something similar to it. So that flavor carried the meat because every bite had that flavoring in it. The meat was clearly seasoned. It was well cooked. It was a little watery, but that's fine because the watery stuff had the seasoning throughout. It was even there. So it had probably the best flavor out of any of the chilies here by itself. Allison, I've always liked your sweet chili. It's a nice touch. Brown sugar, right?
Just a little bit.
A little bit of brown sugar again, so it comes through there. One thing, it's a little bit soupier just because it's meant to be a chili mac. It's intended to be on the noodles and everything like that. So it can kind of be, and this year it could have used a little bit more meat ratio, right? Just because whatever meat was in there is kind of like, when you use ground beef, it breaks down into little granules, and it was kind of like lost in the soup a little bit in there, okay? My favorite chili this year is Grizz's, all right? So Grizz, we talked about this chili here, and I was a little bit worried.
Yeah,
When
he's
you
on
call me
his own
chorizo.
team. He's just giving his own team.
Because chorizo is a very greasy meat, and if you don't drain it correctly or if you don't cook it right, it can just kind of dominate the rest of the chili and kind of make it greasy there. But you avoided that, okay? I really, really did like the fact that, was it like hot chorizo? Okay, so we talked about heat earlier, how Jake's kind of dominated there. Yours was the perfect heat, right? So it went all the way up to being spicy. Every bite maintained the spiciness. It was hot, but it never overtook the rest of the flavors there. So I really like that. It's got a good bean meat ratio, a little bit in every bite. One thing I could have gone away with, it really don't need corn in it, right? You know, the sweet corn or anything like that, you've got a hot chili, you don't need to put sweet corn in there to kind of even it. So everything else is great.
Good.
That's chili for
So your
2022.
favorite, what's your?
My choice is Grizz's.
Grizz's. All right, guys, give it up for Norris and his comment. All right, guys, well, that is the reason why Johnny is our commentator and our chili expert. He has all the right things to say, even if they're wrong. So, with that being said, let's take a minute, let's tally up our votes. So all the contestants come up, count the number of coupons